Right. So the question is, would you want to enable this with free applications? I would say if you're going to list on the marketplace, you do. It just depends. If you plan to never charge for that app, it's probably okay to leave it off. At some point, though, you may want to start charging for the application, and you may want to enable that so that you can. That's merely a safeguard to ensure that they have purchased the app. That's all that really is. So it's up to you. Okay, so the dispatch block, and I can make this bigger. Is that easy enough to read, everyone? I know some of this is grayed out because of the editor comments this stuff out. The dispatch is essentially just what sites is my application going to run on. For bookmarklets, this doesn't matter because they can run the app on any page. But if you're going to distribute your app through a browser extension or an information card, then it's nice to be able to specify which sites it will work on. Another thing, you don't have to, but it's nice to. Another thing that's nice about the dispatch block is the marketplace is smart about this block, and it will actually, in the listing of the marketplace, it will use this list to tell the users which sites your application affects. It gives them a list in the marketplace. We're going to use the global block here in a minute. Basically, the global block is where you can declare global variables, emit JavaScript, emit CSS, that will be available to all of your rules, all of the subsequent rules in your application. Then we get to the rule. So we have just one rule. It's called first rule. And we have our select statement here, and it's primed and ready to be ready for a regular expression. I'm just going to do .star here for now. And since Phil already showed you hello world, I'm not going to show you that. What I am going to do is start off by just going out and getting the Twitter data and showing it in the little notify window. So I'm going to cheat a little bit here and copy and paste because I do not want to type in a regular expression in front of everybody. Okay, so those of you that are not familiar with regular expressions, you're probably wondering what in the world this is. For those of you that are you're probably looking at that and you get it, you understand it. Basically what this will do is it will only fire this rule if it's active, and it will capture the search term here. So we're going to set a variable called term that is going to be whatever term that they're going to search for. So let's quickly try this out. Oops. So I'm just going to say hello world and spit the term out here. Now this, go ahead and save. Hopefully it saves. Doesn't. How do I toggle the errors again? Control E. Oh, Control E. Okay, so there's your errors. Control E. So that's not going to work. So what I'm going to do is come back to my other code here. Oh, my dispatch domain is wrong. That's right. I forgot the word domain. Thanks. I have backup support over here. Does it need a semicolon? Okay. Hopefully we're good. Yay. Thanks, Mike Grace. Okay. Mike Grace has written more apps by far than anyone else. So I'm glad that he's here to help me with this. Okay, so that should work now. We should be able to go back. Let's go to distribute. I'm going to generate, actually to test, sorry. I'm going to go to test. I'm going to drag this bookmarklet up that will let me run the latest version of my app, even if it's not deployed. I'm going to refresh my bacon salt here. I'm going to test my Twitter mashup and successfully extracted the search term from Google, plopped it into my hello world. So the next thing that I want to talk about is this concept of looping. Looping is different in KRL than probably any other language that you're used to writing loops. Maybe you're used to doing a for loop where you set a number to be an incrementer or something, a variable that will increment, and you set bounds for it. Because we're working on a application that is reactive in nature, the rules are of themselves essentially a loop. The KRL, the execution is going to go through each and execute each rule in order. And so one thing that we can do is if we really want to execute something in a loop, we can execute something within a rule, within a loop, we can use this for each. And for each expects an array. So I can say for each and then I can just put an array in here. And then it's and that will essentially create a variable called num, and then I can use num within my rule. This isn't very helpful right now. It doesn't really do anything, but go ahead and put that in here. I'll save. Make sure it's good. I'll refresh the page. Run my app. Okay, so that's essentially how loops work, and that's going to be important because we want to be able to search. We want to be able to iterate over the elements of the search results that come from Twitter search. So let's talk about data sources next. If I go to search.twitter.com and I type in bacon salt, I'm going to get this result. What many of you may not know about this Twitter search is that if I want this search result in JSON, which is JavaScript notation, all I have to do is change the query that I'm using the Twitter API, and I get the result as JSON, which is nice because KRL can consume JSON natively. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to use this. Now, this is not very readable, so I'm going to take this code here. I'm going to go to jsonlint.com. I hope that one thing, not only you get to learn how to write KRL, but you get to see a lot of the tools that we use as we write KRL. I'm going to throw this in here. I'm going to hit validate. It actually doesn't validate, but it does format it nicely for me so that I can see what's going on. So basically what I'm seeing here is I'm going to get back a hash or an object in JSON that has results, and results is going to return an array indicated by the square bracket, and then each array is going to have these things in the object. So with that, I can then extract that data and use it in my application. So how's that going to work? Well, first we have to get the data. And I want to do that, we can do that two ways. We can either use a data source or a data set. Get my cursor back over here. So if I just come over here